96% of so-called journalists and reporters who made presidential donations this circle gave their money, gave themselves, gave everything to crooked Hillary Clinton. Can you believe it? They even want to try to rig the election at the polling booths. So many cities are corrupt, and voter fraud is very, very common.
Joe Trippi, former Howard Dean campaign manager and Fox News contributor, and Boris Epshteyn is senior advisor to the Trump campaign. Gentlemen, welcome. Great to have both of you with us. Let me swing over to you, Joe, first. In terms of these charges of a rigged election, is it true, A, and B, does it get him anywhere?
I think it gets him someplace with his supporters, gets him to the, make sure you get to the polls, but I don't think it gets him anywhere. He may have a point with some of the contributions that reporters have given. I mean, that argument. Yeah. But the rigged fraud part is just nowhere near reality.
Boris, sometimes he argues that the polling centers are rigged. And then some of his surrogates argue, no, that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about the media rigging it toward Hillary Clinton. Well, so what is it?
It's both. First of all, 96% of donations by the media in this cycle has been to Hillary Clinton. 96%. Second of all, just last week, the coverage of the two negative stories, the false accusations versus Donald Trump versus the WikiLeaks and the FOIA information by Hillary Clinton, 23-1. 23 times coverage of Mr. Trump's negative stories versus Hillary Clinton's. Now, on the polling, on the voting, I was on the McCain campaign in 2008. Right here in the state of Nevada, most of the Dallas Cowboys offensive line and the starting lineup really was registered to vote here fraudulently. Look through Pennsylvania, Colorado, where dead people supposedly voted, Virginia, and just the fire. Well, they can't vote because they're dead. And then hold on, Joe. And then in North Carolina, you just had the firebombing right now of the GOP headquarters. That's voter intimidation. Voter fraud has many faces to it. It's voter intimidation, it's voter registration fraud, and then it's actual voter fraud. And now we also know from the Washington Post, that non-citizens have been voting in this country. Yeah. So yes, both of these issues are true.
It's a legitimate concern for any American. Everybody wants our election system. It's the bedrock of our democracy. Yeah, it has to be as clean as humanly possible.
Yeah, so this is how clean it is. Study of all elections since 2000, over 1 billion people have voted. 31 cases of documented voter fraud.
Study by who,
in the United States.
The Brennan Center, which is a known left center?
No, like there's not a single study on voter fraud out there, unless it's been from...
The Pew study, the Washington, I just cited the Washington Post.
No.
The Pennsylvania report alone found 700 instances.
Is like...
Are you arguing that there were 30 or 31 votes in total?
No, 31 documented cases where...
But the cases involved how many votes?
Not that many. It's just, this is a very rare thing in this country, and that's what I think is wrong. Look, I think there are legitimate questions. I think Boris named off a couple. I mean, the contributions, coverage, those kinds of things. If you want to talk about that, I think Trump can go to town on it. But to insinuate and tell people that this election is being rigged and stolen at the voting booth, these states, Ohio, Florida, they're run by Republican Secretary of States, Republican governors.
Well, we're talking about other states like Pennsylvania, Colorado, Virginia.
Oh, so it's only happened in the Democrats.
No, it's happened in Ohio. Here's the issue. I don't understand why the Democrats are against integrity of the election. All we're saying is we want to make sure that non-citizens don't vote, that voters are not intimidated at the polling places like they were in 2008 with the new Black Panthers in Pennsylvania. What's wrong with that?
What do you say to those critics who say he's just preparing a reason? If he loses, it's going to be all about this. It won't be because he had any missteps. It'll be all about this.
We're not preparing to lose. We're going to win this election. We'll win it on the issues. We'll win it on national security, on the economy, and on Hillary Clinton being absolutely disqualified from being president. And now with all the
There's another explanation of this is a get-out-the-vote effort drive. Is there truth to that?
Well, we obviously want as many Republicans, independents, as well as Democrats
I get it,
to
but
vote.
Is this part of the strategy?
The strategy, Bill, is to make sure that there is integrity in our elections, and that's what Mr. Trump is talking about. But it's also to point out that there has been rampant voter fraud all over this country, in this state, in the state of Nevada, in Colorado, in Pennsylvania, in Ohio, where they have same-day voting and registration, rampant voter fraud by Acorn in 08, and since they bust people from Illinois to Ohio to vote.
What about the journalism argument that journalists should not be supporting and giving money to any candidate?
I'm not sure.
You know, A, and then B, that is also reflected in the coverage. That when you look at the front of the Washington Post, you look at the front of the New York Times, the WikiLeaks stories are this big, and the Trump stories and these accusations that could be unfounded are everywhere.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know that it said media contributions to Clinton. I maxed out to Hillary Clinton. People should know that, but I mean, it's obvious.
You're a partisan.
But I'm not a journalist.
Exactly.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Totally
so I don't know who. Am I? But when they put those figures out, am I
about journalists, talk about hosts, talk about people who write in the paper.
No, that's what I meant. So I don't think I don't believe the anchors should be doing that. I don't think
we will see if Trump talks about it again today. Joe, thank you. Boris, thank you.
Thanks so much.